It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and here we are on a Wednesday morning, halfway through the week. From here, you can see the weekend peeking up over the horizon. It'll be here soon enough, and there you are. We're halfway through the week. You know, have they nothing else to do in Washington? I mean, remember a couple of weeks ago, it was all about mass shootings and guns and all that stuff, and that's gone, I guess, because now it's all impeachment. Isn't there anything else to do? Like run the country or something? I don't know. Okay, fine. Let me see here. Well, what's going on? We have, let me see. I got a mixed bag this morning. I mean, I don't think anything really goes with anything else. Oh, these two might possibly, maybe. Possibly. Okay. All right. Let me go. Let me see here. The last legislative session in New York, there was a lot of talk about legalizing marijuana. And no conclusion was reached. However, the legislature goes back into session, I believe, in January again. And they'll probably talk about it again. And who knows, it might even be legalized in New York. Who knows? Hey. And probably as a result of that, the New York City Health Department has released its survey, the first ever report on marijuana use by young people in New York City. The results are kind of interesting. Let me see here. The new study found that a third of residents between 18 and 25 smoke weed, right? Or vape or otherwise ingest the marijuana in some form. And let me see, this study also found that a quarter of adults there between 26 and 34 smoke weed. Meanwhile, 16% of high school students reported usage lower than the state average of 18 and the national average of 20, according to the data culled between 2016 and 2017. The toking rate among youths has been stable over the past 10 years, health officials said. Among adolescents, gender usage was about the same between girls and boys. So they reported, about 15% reported smoking marijuana in the past month. But interestingly enough, the survey also found that more white residents are getting stoned than others. And I'll tell you why that's interesting. Okay, nearly 1/4 of white New Yorkers reported smoking marijuana, compared to 14% of blacks and 12% of Hispanics. So 24, 14, and 12. That's kind of interesting, because most of the arrests come from people of color, which is why this is kind of interesting. The study comes amid the debate in New York about whether to legalize the recreational use of marijuana, and in large part because young residents of color account for most of the pot arrests and charges despite their lower usage, which is kind of interesting. Mayor Bill de Blasio has endorsed the legalized sale of marijuana. Governor Cuomo hasn't said one way or the other, but they're thinking about it. And city prosecutors hailed the study. And who is this? Manhattan DA Cy Vance. He says this groundbreaking report provides New York policymakers with the data they need to legalize and regulate cannabis once and for all. New York is already one of the world's largest cannabis markets, but our state's continued criminalization has allowed an inherently more dangerous illicit market to flourish. And who is this? Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez. He says the health department study on cannabis use in our city shows what we have long known, that white people use marijuana at significantly higher rates than do black people and Latinos, and yet 9 out of 10 of those arrested for marijuana have been black and brown people. And that's why the Brooklyn DA's office no longer prosecutes anyone for simple marijuana crimes, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah, so it's far more whites than blacks or browns, but most of the arrests come with people of color. That was kind of interesting. Also from New York, we have, let me see, this is from the Empire Report. More than $41 million worth of state tax refunds were stopped by the Office of the State Comptroller due to questionable filings. And that's according to a letter sent to the Department of Taxation and Finance. The Comptroller reviewed over 7.7 million refunds for payments that totaled more than $10 billion. And during the review, the office stopped more than 12,000 questionable refunds worth more than $41 million. The most common reason a refund was stopped or returned was due to a taxpayer claiming personal income tax credits based on incorrect information, including an inaccurate number of dependents or understated incomes. Huh. Okay. And then we have this from New York. This guy, wowee. Boy, some people are just absolutely amazing. His name was Anthony Mancinelli, and he's been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's oldest working barber. The oldest working barber, 108 years old. He died last Thursday. And he worked as a barber from the age of 12. So he died at 108 last week. He started cutting hair at the age of 12. And he cut his last head of hair this past July. Holy moly. The guy was born in Italy. He came to America in 1919 at the age of 8, and he landed in Newburgh and resided in the Newburgh, New Windsor area for the rest of his life. He picked up his first set of barber shears in 1924, learning the business at a neighborhood barbershop after school each day. And he opened his own barbershop in the city of Newburgh in 1930 when he was 19 years old. And he owned it for 40 years, which makes, from 1970. And after that, he worked for other barbershops. So this guy was cutting hair for all that time. Holy moly, that's really something. Oh, he was also in World War II. So, of course, he stopped the cutting hair, and after World War II, he was back at it. And there's a photo of this guy. He looks like a really nice guy. A really, really nice guy. But he was a barber for all his life, from the age of 12 until he was 108. Wow, the oldest working barber in the world, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. Huh. And from here we go to, let me see, I said there wasn't really much of a theme this morning. Well, you probably could have guessed this. The Swedish teenage climate alarmist, that the 16-year-old Greta Thunberg, she was named Wednesday as one of the 4 winners of the 2019 Right Livelihood Award. And that's known as Sweden's alternative Nobel Prize. So she has won the Sweden's version of the Nobel Prize. Thunberg won the award for inspiring and amplifying demands for urgent climate action reflecting scientific facts, the Right Livelihood Foundation said in a statement. And of course, as you know, little Miss Thunberg addressed the UN on Monday when she criticized everybody in the world for the climate change and we're all going to die and all that stuff. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. She seems like a very nice, sincere young lady, and she does. She believes what she's saying. Unfortunately, what she's saying is kind of wrong, you know, but she does believe what she's saying, and she really does seem like a nice young lady. She really honestly does. But I think really she's a pawn. She's being shamelessly used. So she is an alarmist, but she is being used by activists, real activists. And what are they actively for? Well, I don't think it's about changing the climate. Because in the first place, how do you change the climate? Right. So, I mean, how do you make it stop being hot or stop being warm or stop raining? I mean, how do you stop that? How do you stop a hurricane, you know? I don't know. Anyway, but she is being used by real activists. As a matter of fact, a lot of them have admitted, I mean, openly, this is not about climate change. This is not about climate change at all. It's about changing the system. And what system would that be? Right. Capitalism. Right? Which is how our country works. So that's what they're really trying to change. Not the climate, because of course that's impossible. But you can change the system. Oh yeah, you can. And I think we should really look out for it, you know what I mean? And I think if she really wants to make a difference, Why doesn't she take her crusade? And it's, as I said, a sincere, honest crusade. She ought to take it to China and tell them. Because their carbon gas emissions or something are way worse than ours. As a matter of fact, where did I read? I was on the EPA website. The greenhouse gas emissions in the United States are lower now than they were in 1987. So it just keeps getting better and better and better. So the more we do, I suppose it just isn't enough, right? Okay. So if she really wants to make a difference, she ought to go to China and tell them and see how they listen. Okay, fine. What else? Well, this maybe possibly might be in line with that. I don't know. Who is this? A research team including scientists from the University of New Mexico, the University of South Florida, Columbia, and some university in France. Its name, I don't I don't speak French. So anyway, it's a university in France. Anyway, a group of scientists studying evidence preserved in cave formations, have found that global sea levels were as much as 52 feet higher more than 3 million years ago than they are now. So sea levels 3 million years ago were 52 feet higher than they are now. And their findings, based on an analysis of deposits from Arctic Cave on the island of Majorca, depict a time when Earth was 2 or 3 degrees warmer than in the pre-industrial era, and have implications for the study of current-day sea level rise. Sea level rises as a result of melting ice sheets, but scientists have long worked to answer how fast and how much it could rise during a warming period. And when was the last warming period? Let me see here. I got it. Constraining models for sea level rise due to increased warming critically depends on actual measurements of past sea level, said senior research scientist Victor Polyak in a statement. This study provides very robust measurements of sea level heights during the Pliocene era. The project zeroed in on cave deposits that form in coastal caves at the interface between brackish water and cave air, where the ancient spaces were flooded by rising seas. So this is kind of interesting. So the sea levels were 52 feet higher 3 million years ago. So they fell 52 feet, right? That's odd. This is before anybody could have had any kind of an impact on the environment, right? It was a long time ago. The researchers were especially interested in the mid-Pliocene warm period, which was some 3 million years ago. The interval also marks the last time the Earth's atmospheric CO2 levels were as high as they are today, providing important clues about what the future holds in the face of current anthropogenic warming, this guy said. So, there we are. So the seas were higher then. So I don't know, it's all very strange. Okay, insurance, everybody needs insurance, especially if the sea levels are going to rise again, who knows. Anyway, everybody needs insurance. You need it, I need it, everybody needs insurance. Let me see, who could you, Hey, the Ryan agencies. The Ryan agencies, they have offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville. They're local, which I just said. It's like having your own personal insurance shopper. They have access to many insurance companies to find the best rates for you, because everybody's needs are just a little unique, right? They're insurance experts. They offer sound, unbiased advice. They're friendly. They're local. They have a great website, which is called RyanAgency.com. You can find out all kinds of stuff on that. The Ryan Agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In baseball, we have 5 days left in the regular season, and we've had 6 teams clinch playoff spots. The Dodgers, Yankees, Astros, Braves, Cardinals, and now the Nationals, who swept a doubleheader from the Phillies. They won Game 1 4-1, took the second game 6-5, so Washington clinches a wild card spot while Philadelphia is eliminated from the postseason. Brewers beat the Reds 4-2. Milwaukee's 1 game back of Washington for the number 1 wild card spot in the National League. The Cubs fall to the Pirates 9-2. Chicago's lost 7 in a row, and the Mets squeaked by the Marlins 5-4 in 11 innings. Both Chicago Chicago and New York are 5 games out of a wild card spot in the National League with 5 to play. A's lose to the Angels 3-2. Rays beat the Yankees 2-1 in 12 innings, and the Indians shut out the White Sox 11-0. Oakland's lead on Tampa Bay for the number 1 wild card spot in the American League is at a half game. Tampa Bay's lead on Cleveland for the number 2 wild card spot in the AL is also at a half game. NFL news: Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton reportedly has a Liz Frank injury. It typically involves ligament damage in the midfoot and takes 6 to 8 weeks to rehab.
From the Fox Business Network, more people are wearing Nikes, even in China. Nike's profit in the summer quarter was up 25% from a year ago. Both its earnings and sales were stronger than expected. North American sales rose 4%. Overall sales were up 7%, helped by strong business in China. Nike is selling more shoes and sportswear directly to you through its sneakers app and its main app. Its digital business grew 42%. Discount retail chain Marshalls is selling things to you online for the first time. The company says Marshalls.com will sell clothing, home goods, beauty items, and more. Stocks lost ground Tuesday. News of a formal impeachment inquiry of President Trump raised new concerns that China might delay reaching a trade agreement. The Dow was down 142, NASDAQ dropped 118, S&P down 25. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive Little Blue Pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. And right now, get your first online visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/joy. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. forhims.com/joy.
Today at Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads and Hornell, New York, you'll find brand new 2019 Nissan Sentra SV models equipped with 16-inch alloy wheels, rear monitor, push-button ignition, and cruise control for just $15,999. Shop Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads or Hornell. Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Oh, Spam. Everybody likes, I love Spam. Spam is absolutely great. I have no idea what's really in Spam, but I think it's wonderful stuff. This was, let me see, where Fox News. Pumpkin spice flavored Spam sells out in hours and may never come back. Pumpkin spice flavored Spam. Okay, I was startled to learn that there are 15 varieties of Spam. Anyway, sometimes the most beautiful things in the world only exist for a few fleeting moments, and then they're gone. As with pumpkin spice Spam. However, if you're looking to find any of this stuff, it's gone because all the jar or a container, can of Spam, all the cans that they made are now gone. Everybody bought them in no time flat. Anyway, if you're looking to, it's fine. This seasonally flavored meat product, there are reportedly no plans to make anymore. So, it took only 7 hours. 7 hours for the limited edition Spam to sell out, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune reports. The product was released on Monday through Walmart.com and Spam.com, and bingo, 7 hours, everything was gone. And that's absolutely amazing. I mean, that is just amazing. Now, pumpkin spice Spam might seem like an odd combination, but it isn't the first meat to be paired with a seasonal spice. In 2018, Buffalo Wild Wings offered fans a limited edition pumpkin ale sauce for its famous chicken wings. Pumpkin ale sauce. There's only one way to do chicken wings. You take Frank's hot sauce and butter. And that's it. That's all you need. Frank's hot sauce and butter. At least that's only my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a chef, but yeah. So you... pumpkin ale sauce for its famous chicken wings. So that's news from Spam. There you go. Also, how much? Oh, yeah, there's plenty of time. Author begs normal people not to wear MAGA-like red caps. Quote, "You're making everyone scared." Okay, let's just see how this goes. Have you heard of Trump derangement syndrome? Check. Well, This is pretty much up there. An author who has been a finalist for a Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award received backlash on Twitter after likening President Trump's red "Make America Great Again" hats to the Nazi swastika and urging normal people, in other words, non-Trump voters, to avoid wearing any type of red hat, saying that they'd be, quote, making people scared by doing so. This author's name is Rebecca Makkai. She's 41 years old. And she made the remarks in a string of tweets. There's a tweet on Twitter. She also asked sports fans whose teams wear red hats, the Cincinnati Reds, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Washington Nationals, not to don that specific color cap in public. She's wrote, "It's not worth making disenfranchised people feel unsafe. Also, for the love of God," she wrote, "also for the love of God, the clever folks wearing Make America Read Again or whatever caps, no, you're making everyone scared. Don't do it." Well, okay. Mackay's initial tweet has received more than 19,600 likes and been retweeted more than 1,500 times. But several users posted screenshots showing the author had blocked them on Twitter after slamming the leftist novelist for being so easily triggered by red hats. A few did agree with Mackay, and one asked fans of the Detroit Red Wings, St. Louis Cardinals, Los Angeles Angels, Arizona Cardinals, right, and others not to wear a team cap because red hats equal bigotry. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of weird. So red hats, apparently this lady is scared by red hats. It's clear. It's like a clown thing, you know. So she has a fear of red hats. And also a fear of common sense, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah. Don't wear a red hat because it makes people scared. And in an attempt to justify her plea for people to stop wearing red hats entirely, she noted that the swastika, a symbol in the ancient Sanskrit language, stood for luck, purity, and well-being in Hinduism and Buddhism. And those who practice these faiths largely stopped using the symbol after it was adopted by Nazis. So now, Trump is a Nazi. Okay. So the red hat, she said, has become a symbol of hate because of how its wearers act. And this lady was, who? Liberal. She was a finalist for a Pulitzer Prize at the National Book Award. Okay, very good. Well, there you go. Okay, fine. I said it was a mixed bag, and there you go. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.